The Forgotten Guardian. Lieutenant Commander Alina Reyes kept her expression carefully neutral as Admiral Vexthar's dismissive comments echoed through the command deck of the Galactic Coalition flagship Eternal Vigilance. The towering Ardaxian's four eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture Elena had learned indicated barely contained contempt. And while we acknowledge Earth's contributions to the Coalition's scientific endeavors, Vexthar continued, mandibles clicking softly, we must be realistic about humanity's technological limitations. Your species only achieved faster-than-light travel 37 years ago. Most Coalition races had already established multi-system empires when your ancestors were still figuring out basic electricity. Several of the alien officers chuckled. Alina maintained her professional composure, though her jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. As Earth's diplomatic liaison to the Coalition fleet, she had grown accustomed to such condescension. Your insights are always valuable, Admiral, she replied evenly. Though I hope you'll remember that innovation often comes from unexpected sources. Vexthar waved a clawed appendage dismissively. Of course, Commander Reyes. Now about the upcoming diplomatic mission to the Centauri Fringe Worlds. Your presence will be purely ceremonial. Try not to distract from actual operations. Elena nodded, swallowing her pride. Earth needed the Coalition's protection in a dangerous galaxy. If that meant tolerating the occasional insult, so be it. 3 standard days later, everything changed. Elena was reviewing cultural briefings in her quarters when an urgent alert sounded throughout the vessel. Rushing to the command deck, she found the officers gathered around the central holographic display, murmuring in confused tones. What's happening? She asked Commander Tilara, a Solarian who had always treated her with more respect than most. Scout ships detected an anomalous reading in the void between Proxima and Barnard systems, Tilara explained, her luminescent skin pulsing with excitement. A massive derelict vessel. And Commander, she hesitated, it appears to be of human design. Elena pushed closer to the display. The scan showed a massive ship drifting in the darkness, approximately 2 kilometers in length. Even from the rough holographic reconstruction, something about its silhouette stirred a memory. That's impossible, she whispered. You recognize this vessel? Admiral Vexthar asked, approaching from behind. Elena studied the scans more carefully, her heart racing. If I'm not mistaken, that's the UES Prometheus. It was Earth's experimental flagship during the Mars colonial conflict, over 2 centuries ago. Historical records indicate it was destroyed with all hands in the final battle of Deimos. Vexthar scoffed. A primitive relic from your species' violent past. Nevertheless, the Coalition Science Division may find some anthropological value in studying it. Have it towed to Research Station Helios. As the massive Coalition Tau ships moved into position around the derelict human warship, Elena stood at the observation deck, watching the operation with mixed emotions. The Prometheus was legendary in human history. Its supposed destruction had marked the end of humanity's bloodiest interplanetary conflict before achieving unity. You seem troubled, Commander Reyes, said a voice behind her. Elena turned to see Dr. Nivera, the ship's xenobiologist and one of the few Coalition members who treated her as an equal. The Prometheus was reported destroyed with all hands, Elena said quietly. Finding it here, intact, raises many questions. Nivera's skin shimmered thoughtfully. Perhaps your historians were mistaken. Perhaps, Elena agreed, but she didn't believe it. Something felt profoundly wrong. Later that day, Admiral Vexthar summoned Elena to his private chambers. His 4 eyes studied her with unusual intensity. Commander Reyes, you will accompany the research team to investigate this human relic, he said. Your knowledge of its history may prove useful. Elena was surprised. Thank you, Admiral. I didn't expect. Do not mistake this for respect. Vexthar interrupted. The Coalition High Command has specifically requested human oversight of this discovery. Politics, nothing more. The next morning, Elena boarded the shuttle bound for Research Station Helios. Through the viewport, she could see the Prometheus already docked. Even after 2 centuries, The warship's size was impressive, its hull bearing the scars of ancient battles. The UES insignia was still visible, though faded with time. As the shuttle approached the station, Alina received a private message on her secure communicator. The sender was unknown. The Prometheus watches and waits. The Guardian must not awaken until the time is right. Alina frowned at the cryptic message. It made no sense. The Prometheus was just a ship, a relic from humanity's troubled past. The research team was led by Director Calver, a brilliant but arrogant Tellurian who made no effort to hide his disdain for humans. Commander Reyes, he acknowledged coldly. Try not to touch anything during our investigation. Human curiosity has a way of damaging valuable artifacts. The first exploration of the ship's exterior revealed something strange. Despite its apparent age, detailed scans showed no significant structural deterioration. This material, one of the scientists said, analyzing the hull composition, it's not consistent with Earth's technology from that era. Alina touched the cold surface of the ship. The Prometheus was experimental. Many of its specifications were classified, even from our own people. Director Calver laughed. Always the same excuses for human technological inadequacy. As they prepared to enter the ship, Alina's communicator vibrated again with another message. They must not reach the core. Danger awaits all who enter. Alina hesitated at the airlock entrance. The Prometheus had been adrift for 2 centuries. What danger could possibly remain? The massive doors of the ship opened with surprising ease. The interior was dark, with only emergency lights casting an eerie blue glow through the corridors. Their footsteps echoed as they entered what had once been one of humanity's most powerful warships. Artificial gravity and life support are still functioning, a technician noted with surprise. How is that possible after 2 centuries? Someone asked. Alina felt a chill run down her spine. Something was very wrong here. The Prometheus shouldn't exist, and it certainly shouldn't have functioning systems after all this time. As they moved deeper into the ship, Alina couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The Prometheus was keeping its secrets. For now, the exploration team pushed further into the ancient vessel's depths. Director Calver led the way, his sensor equipment scanning every bulkhead and conduit they passed. Look at this propulsion system, one of the coalition scientists laughed, examining an exposed engine component. Ion thrusters and fusion rockets. How did they even reach Mars without dying of old age? Alina ignored the jibe. Something about the ship's layout didn't match the historical schematics she'd studied. Corridors ended where there should have been connections, and walls appeared where open spaces should exist. Director, she called out, these internal structures don't align with recorded specifications. Calver barely glanced at her. Your historical records are likely inaccurate, Commander. Hardly surprising for a species that's barely mastered interstellar travel. When they reached what appeared to be the bridge, Alina's suspicions deepened. The control systems seemed deliberately archaic, too primitive even for the era when the Prometheus was supposedly built. These interfaces couldn't possibly control a vessel of this size, she muttered, running her fingers over dust-covered consoles. Yet another testament to humanity's technological stagnation, Calver remarked, not bothering to lower his voice. Later that night, after the research team had returned to the station, Alina found herself drawn back to the Prometheus. She couldn't explain the compulsion, but something about the ship called to her. Using her clearance as Earth's liaison, she boarded the vessel alone. The empty corridors felt different without the chatter of the research team. More alive somehow. As she approached the bridge, the emergency lights seemed to brighten slightly. I know you're hiding something, she whispered to the empty ship. Alina examined the captain's chair more carefully this time. There was a small recess beneath the right armrest, something that hadn't been in the original design specifications. When she pressed it, a hidden compartment beneath the floor slid open. Inside was a small cube that glowed with a soft golden light. A quantum core, Alina whispered in shock. This technology wasn't supposed to exist 2 centuries ago. As she reached for it, the ship's systems suddenly activated. Dormant consoles flickered to life around her. Before she could react, a holographic figure appeared in the center of the bridge, a woman wearing an antiquated Earth military uniform, her appearance so lifelike that for a moment, Alina thought another person had entered the room. HFY online. Human DNA detected. Authorization recognized. The hologram's eyes scanned Alina carefully. Commander Alina Reyes, Diplomatic Corps, United Earth Government. Welcome aboard the UES Prometheus. Alina took a step back. How do you know who I am? I accessed Coalition personnel files when your research station systems connected to my network. HFY replied smoothly. May I inquire how long I have been dormant? 214 years, Alina answered, her voice filled with wonder. The Mars colonial conflict ended centuries ago. HFY nodded, her expression solemn. Then my primary protocols remain in effect. This vessel's true capabilities were classified, even from Earth's government. I was instructed to reveal them only in humanity's darkest hour. What capabilities? Alina asked. HFY gestured around the bridge. What you see is merely a facade. The Prometheus was designed to appear technologically inferior to its actual capabilities. Why would Earth hide the ship's true nature? To protect humanity, HFY replied. The Prometheus was built with technology far beyond what Earth publicly acknowledged possessing. As HFY spoke, the bridge began to transform. Panels that had seemed old and outdated reconfigured themselves, revealing advanced systems underneath. Holographic displays appeared in the air, showing the ship's true specifications. My primary directive is to ensure the survival of the human species, HFY continued. To that end, I was programmed with defensive and offensive capabilities beyond anything that existed at that time. Alina stared at the displays in shock. If these specifications were accurate, the Prometheus outclassed even the most advanced Coalition warships. Does Earth know this ship still exists? She asked. Unlikely, HFY replied. The Prometheus was reported destroyed as part of a strategic deception. Only 7 humans knew the truth, and they are long dead. Alina studied the displays with growing amazement. This technology, some of it doesn't even exist in current Coalition ships. This vessel was built to be Earth's final defense, HFY explained. A contingency against extinction. A sudden alarm made Alina jump. HFY's expression changed to one of concern. The research station security systems have detected our power activation, she announced. They are sending a team to investigate. We need to shut everything down, Alina said urgently. If the Coalition discovers what this ship really is. Too late, HFY said, pointing to a security monitor that showed a team of armed Coalition security officers approaching the ship. The hologram looked at Alina intently. I must ask, is humanity in danger? Do you require the Prometheus to fulfill its primary directive? Before Alina could answer, the ship shuddered violently. Emergency alarms blared throughout the vessel. What's happening? She demanded. HFY's expression grew grave. Long-range sensors detect multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. Configuration unknown. Weapons signatures active. The security feed showed Coalition officers running back toward the station as a new alert echoed throughout the facility. Commander Reyes, HFY said, her voice suddenly firm with military authority. I believe the time for secrecy has passed. Humanity needs the Prometheus now. As if on cue, Alina's communicator burst with an emergency broadcast from Admiral Vexthar. All personnel to battle stations. Unknown hostile fleet approaching. This is not a drill. Alina looked up at the ancient AI, understanding dawning in her eyes. After 2 centuries of waiting in the darkness between stars, the guardian of humanity was about to reveal its true purpose. Defiance of the stars. Alarms blared throughout Research Station Helios as the hostile fleet dropped out of hyperspace. On the main observation deck, Alina watched with growing horror as massive obsidian vessels materialized against the starfield. Their design was unlike anything in Coalition records, sleek, predatory shapes with pulsing crimson energy signatures. The Krell Dominion. Admiral Vexthar's voice was tight with barely controlled fear. We thought they were just legends. You know these attackers? Alina asked, rushing to join the Admiral at the tactical display. Ancient stories only, Vexthar replied, his 4 eyes fixed on the approaching armada. A species that consumes worlds. They're said to harvest inhabited planets for resources, organic and otherwise. The station rocked as the first volley from the Krell fleet struck its outer defenses. Shields flickered dangerously. Our defensive systems are ineffective, a tactical officer reported, panic evident in their voice. Their weapons are bypassing our shield harmonics. All non-essential personnel to evacuation pods, Vexthar ordered. Send distress signals on all Coalition frequencies. Alina grabbed the Admiral's arm. The nearest Coalition battle group is 3 days away. We won't last 3 hours. Another impact shook the station. Lights flickered and emergency systems engage. Shield failure imminent, the tactical officer announced. Estimated time to complete collapse, 17 minutes. Vexthar turned to Alina, his typical arrogance replaced by grim resignation. It seems humanity will outlive the Coalition after all. Commander Reyes, a pity we underestimated your species until the end. Alina's mind raced. The Prometheus was their only hope. If its capabilities were as advanced as HFY had shown her. There may be a way, she said urgently. The human vessel we discovered, it's not what it appears to be. That ancient relic. Vexthar scoffed, though with less conviction than usual. It couldn't even power its own life support systems. That was by design, Alina insisted. Admiral, I need your authorization to activate the Prometheus and assemble the skeleton crew. What exactly are you proposing, Commander? That Earth has been hiding its true technological capabilities for centuries, she replied. And that ship may be the only thing standing between us and extinction. Another blast rocked the station. A support beam crashed from the ceiling, narrowly missing them. 10 minutes to shield failure, the tactical officer called out. Vexthar studied Alina's face, searching for deception. Finding none, he nodded grimly. Do whatever you can, Commander. We have nothing left to lose. Alina wasted no time. She assembled a makeshift crew of 14 humans from the station staff, engineers, tactical officers, and researchers. As they rushed to the Prometheus's docking bay, she briefed them on what they would find. Everything you know about Earth's technological history is about to be challenged, she explained. The Prometheus is a ruse, a vessel designed to appear primitive while housing capabilities centuries beyond what we've publicly acknowledged. The team exchanged skeptical glances, but the distant sound of explosions lent urgency to their steps. As they approached the ancient warship, Alina transmitted an activation code from her communicator. Aficionado, Emergency Protocol Lazarus. Authorization. Reyes, Alina, Lieutenant Commander, Earth Diplomatic Corps. The seemingly dormant vessel hummed to life. Lights activated along its hull, and the entry ramp extended to receive them. Welcome back, Commander Reyes. Athena's voice greeted them as they rushed aboard. I have been monitoring the situation. The Krell Dominion represents a clear threat to human survival. Not just humans, Alina corrected as they reached the bridge. If they destroy this station, everyone dies. The human crew took their positions at various stations around the bridge. Most had only basic training on military vessels, but HFY guided them through the process of bringing the ancient warship to life. Primary systems online, HFY announced. Defensive capabilities at 100%. Weapons systems charging. Through the viewports, they could see the station's remaining personnel watching in amazement as the supposedly primitive vessel began to power up. Even more surprising was when sections of the hull began to shift and change, revealing sleek, advanced architecture that had been hidden beneath. "What's happening to the ship?" one of the engineers asked. "Removing the camouflage systems," HFY explained. "The Prometheus was designed to appear older and less capable than it truly is." The ship detached from its docking clamps and moved away from the station. On the main screen, they could see the approaching Krell fleet. The alien vessels were angular and black, with pulsing red energy signatures at their cores. "They've detected us," reported Lieutenant Park from the sensor station. "They're changing course to intercept." Admiral Vexthar's face appeared on a communication screen. "Whatever you're planning, Commander Rice, do it quickly. Our scans show the Krell flagship powering weapons." "Athena," Elena said, settling into the captain's chair. "Show them what the Prometheus can do." "With pleasure, Commander," the AI replied. Activating quantum shields. Charging primary defense systems. The first Krell ship fired. A beam of red energy lanced toward the Prometheus, powerful enough to cut through a coalition cruiser. It struck the shields and dissipated harmlessly. Shield integrity at 99.8%, HFY reported, analyzing their weapon technology, adjusting defenses accordingly. On the research station, Admiral Vexthar watched in disbelief as the supposedly ancient human vessel withstood an attack that would have destroyed any ship in his fleet. "Impossible," he whispered. Elena's voice came through his communicator. "Admiral, I suggest you evacuate all non-essential personnel to the center of the station. Things are about to get interesting." The Prometheus accelerated toward the Krell fleet, its true power finally revealed after 2 centuries of slumber. "Target their lead vessels," Elena ordered. "Conventional weapons only," Athena inquired. Elena nodded. "Let's not show all our cards at once." The Prometheus fired. Pulses of blue energy shot from concealed weapon ports. 3 Krell scout ships exploded instantly. "Their shields offer no protection against quantum-phased energy," HFY explained. "These weapons were designed to bypass any known defensive technology." The Krell fleet regrouped, forming a tighter formation. More ships fired at once, concentrating their attack on a single point of the Prometheus's shields. Shield integrity holding at 96%, HFY reported. "They're attempting to find a resonant frequency to disrupt our defenses." Elena leaned forward in her chair. "Can they succeed?" "Negative," HFY replied. "Our shield technology operates on principles they cannot comprehend." The Prometheus continued its advance, methodically destroying Krell vessels with precise weapon strikes. The enemy fleet, initially confident in their overwhelming numbers, began to show signs of confusion. Several ships attempted to retreat, only to be disabled by carefully targeted shots. "They're hailing us," Lieutenant Park announced. "Let's hear it," Elena said. A harsh, guttural voice filled the bridge. "Human vessel, you possess technology beyond your civilization's known capabilities. Explain yourselves." Elena stood from the captain's chair. "This is Commander Elena Reyes of Earth. The technology you're witnessing is merely a sample of what we've kept hidden. Retreat immediately, or we will be forced to demonstrate more." The communication cut off abruptly. The Krell fleet began to regroup, with smaller vessels taking defensive positions around their flagship. "They're preparing for a coordinated attack," HFY warned. "All vessels charging weapons simultaneously." "Recommendations?" Elena asked. "I suggest we utilize the graviton implosion array," HFY replied. "It will disable their vessels without destruction, demonstrating our technological superiority while preserving life." Elena nodded. "Do it." The Prometheus emitted a pulse of invisible energy that expanded outward in a perfect sphere. When it reached the Krell vessels, their propulsion systems suddenly failed. The ships drifted helplessly, weapons powering down. "Gravitational manipulation complete," HFY reported. "Their drive cores have been temporarily reconfigured at the quantum level. Effect will dissipate in approximately 6 hours." The bridge crew stared in amazement. Such technology was theoretical even in the most advanced coalition research divisions. Admiral Vexthar's face appeared on the communication screen again, his expression a mixture of awe and suspicion. "Commander Reyes, what exactly are we witnessing?" Elena met his gaze steadily. "The truth, Admiral. Humanity learned early in our history that revealing our full technological capabilities would make us a target. We chose a different path, appearing less advanced than we truly are. A deception spanning centuries." Vexthar seemed unable to process the concept. "A survival strategy," Elena corrected. "The Prometheus represents just one aspect of Earth's contingency plans, a guardian placed in the void, awaiting the moment it would be needed." As the discipled Krell fleet drifted harmlessly, coalition reinforcements began arriving. Drawn by the station's distress calls, they approached cautiously, sensors struggling to make sense of the transformed human vessel. In the days that followed, the revelation of humanity's hidden technological prowess sent shockwaves through the Galactic Coalition. Species that had once dismissed humans as primitive newcomers now regarded them with newfound respect, and in some cases, fear. Elena found herself summoned to emergency sessions of the Coalition Council, explaining humanity's centuries-long deception, while carefully avoiding details about the full extent of Earth's capabilities. "You must understand," she told the assembled representatives, "our history taught us caution. When species display advanced technology too quickly, they often become targets for assimilation or destruction. So everything we know about human technological development is a lie," demanded the Tellurian counselor. "Not a lie," Elena corrected. "A careful presentation. We shared genuine advancements while keeping certain technologies in reserve, a contingency against existential threats." The council chambers buzzed with uncomfortable discussions. The Prometheus remained in orbit around Station Helios, its transformed appearance a constant reminder of humanity's hidden strength. 1 month after the Krell encounter, Elena stood on the observation deck of the Prometheus, watching coalition engineering teams cautiously examining the vessel's exterior under strict supervision. Admiral Vexthar joined her, his manner considerably more respectful than before. "Your deception was impressive," he admitted. "I would not have believed humans capable of such strategic patience." Elena smiled faintly. "That was rather the point, Admiral." "The Coalition Security Council is concerned," Vexthar continued. "If humans have concealed this level of technology, what else might you be hiding?" "That's not a question I'm authorized to answer," Elena replied evenly. Vexthar's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture she now recognized as thoughtful consideration rather than contempt. "For what it's worth," he said finally, "I believe the Coalition underestimated humanity in ways beyond technology. The discipline required to maintain such a deception across generations, it speaks to a cultural resilience we fail to recognize." Elena nodded in acknowledgement of the closest thing to an apology she was likely to receive. "What happens to the Prometheus now?" Vexthar asked. "She returns to her vigil," Elena replied. "There are other guardians out there, Admiral, placed strategically throughout known space. Some have waited centuries, others millennia." Millennia. Vexthar couldn't hide his shock. "But humanity has only been in space for as long as we've allowed others to believe," Elena finished for him. "History is written not just by victors, Admiral, but by those who control the narrative." As if on cue, the Prometheus began to change again, its advanced systems reconfiguring, the gleaming hull gradually reverting to its disguise of antiquated technology and battle scars. "Aficionado is initiating dormancy protocols," Elena explained. "Soon, the Prometheus will once again appear to be nothing more than a relic, a forgotten guardian returning to shadow." "And you?" Vexthar asked. "Will you continue as our liaison, pretending to represent a species of technological novices?" Elena smiled enigmatically. "I represent humanity exactly as it is, Admiral, a species that learned to hide its light until the darkness threatens to engulf us all." As the Prometheus completed its transformation, resuming its deceptive appearance of technological obsolescence, Alina's communicator received one final message from Athena. Dormancy protocol engage. The Guardian returns to watch and wait. Remember, Commander, in the game of survival, the most dangerous player is the one whose true strength remains unknown. 3 days later, the Prometheus disappeared during a routine transfer operation, vanishing into the void between stars to resume its eternal vigil, leaving the Coalition species to reevaluate everything they thought they knew about their human allies. And somewhere in the hidden depths of Earth's archives, a classified document recorded another successful deployment of Operation Guardian, a strategy set in motion at the dawn of humanity's true ascension to the stars, countless centuries before the rest of the galaxy believed they had even learned to fly.